Huh?
We're going live.
Def no. You can, but I'm not.
Hello, everybody. Get this shared out. Hello, Dwayne. Jake's on. The man, Tim, Kelly. Guys, we're getting ready to get started here, live from Yogi's, of course, after the game with Todd, Leary, Princeton.
Should just be after the second half.
You got that right. 'Cause that first half stunk. Hello, Dwayne. How are you, brother? Getting started, everybody. Hey, Robert, the truth is on with us down in Henderson, I believe.
Henderson, KY?
Yeah. Listens to us on the ref.
Woo.
Jake's getting her shared out.
Tim's alive.
Tim says he can hear us loud and clear.
No, he said Tim's here. But can you hear us, Tim?
No, he can hear us loud and clear.
Okay.
Check, one.
Check it.
Just kidding. Just kidding. Hope everybody had a good night.
Hope everybody's night was better than Indiana's first half.
Yeah, that stunk. We're going to talk about it. Hey, if you don't want to hear the
Honor.
truth, baby, you might as well go to one of those fan pages. 'Cause we're fixing to tell it. It's not that bad, but we're going to tell the truth. No sugarcoating here.
If I analyzed the first half, possession by possession, it would take 7 hours.
This is a no BS fly zone.
7 hours.
Jake's getting her shared out for us. We're about there, so I guess we'll go ahead and get going because people can jump in as we go along. All right. All right, welcome to After the Game with Todd Leary, former Hoosier basketball player. We're coming to you live from Yogi's Bar and Grill in Bloomington, of course. Beautiful setting. I'm Jim Coyle. Todd Leary right here with me as always. Todd, a nice game for Indiana overall. Trying to be nice here in a bit. Some nice things in the first half, but they weren't very plentiful. Mr. Richard Mellencamp joins us here in the at Yogi's.
Hey, Dick.
But, man, that was a boring first half.
It was awful. It was terrible. I mean, I don't know what you were talking about when you just said some good things in the first half.
Brunk. I was talking about Joey Brunk. We'll get to Joey, but
Yeah.
Joey Brunk was a good thing in the first half.
Yeah, that was if you analyzed it in detail, possession by possession, and broke them all down. Whew, there would be some long film sessions on that first half. There was breakdowns all over the place. You can say the other team made some shots, but they really didn't. I mean, if they would have shot the ball well, they would have been ahead. Princeton would have been ahead in the ball game after halftime. So,
well, this game was tied to 31 with 1:17 to go in the first half.
And a terrible call gave Justin Smith 2 free throws that put him up by 2, because it should have been a charge, and somehow they called it a block, and he got 2 free throws out of it.
The first note that I wrote down early in the first half was a little star that Joey Brunk was being very active. He was playing good D on Arariguza, whatever his name is.
Yeah, I mean, leading scorer on their team. He did a fantastic job on him.
I forgot to check to see what he
He had 2 points with 8 minutes to go. Yeah.
Well, he had 2 points into the half, but what a great job Joey Brunk did defensively tonight. They probably shared it a little bit, but he had him for a good part. But Joey was very active. Even in the first half, he only had 6 points, but he was active. He was getting out and playing, and he was rebounding. I had him down for 2 offensive rebounds and a steal all the first half of play. And then his second half was even better. Of course, we'll get to that. He had 10 points in the second half, 16 on the night. But he had a solid first half, and he was maybe the only one that had a solid first half. But he played kind of all-around good game.
He did. I mean, he played a solid. I think he played like close to 30 minutes in the ball game. He played probably more minutes than he's played all year. Yeah, 25 minutes. And so, overall he played well. I mean, he was 7 of 11 from the field. He's the only guy on the team that shot double-digit attempts, which is kind of unusual. But I mean, 16 points and 8 rebounds. That's as solid as you're going to get, I think, out of that position. And I'm super thrilled with how he played. And I thought overall, he played the most consistent game throughout, because like I said, that first half you had to struggle to find someone that played well.
In the second half, he had 10 points, and he continued his solid play. I think he had at least another steal. He was close to getting a double-double last I checked. He had 8 rebounds.
He finished
with that. But a pretty solid night for Joey Bronk. That's got to give you at least knowing that he's probably going to be that type of solid player. Not going to have that game every time, but that's somebody you can count on, because you're going to need to count on somebody.
Well, and like we said, I mean, he defended their leading scorer throughout the night and did a great job. Not just, I mean, what he really did the best wasn't after that guy had the ball. I don't know how to pronounce his name, so I was calling him number 34. But after he defended before he caught the ball and was denying him the ball. I know he knocked a couple of passes out of bounds and knocked one off of the kid, and overall his defense was just as good as his offensive stats that we're looking at. So when you compare or add on to what he did offensively with, I thought he probably had one of his best defensive games. Overall you've got to be super pleased with that position.
As boring as that game was, they only ended up with 9 turnovers on the night, and I think they had 6 in the first half.
Well, Brunk had 4 of them too, so that's his one negative for the night. I don't think anyone else had more than 1 turnover, but he had 4 of the 9 turnovers. But he also had the ball in his hand a lot more than he's used to having, and so I know one of those was just an errant pass that he made, and overall, he. I don't know that you'll say he'll live with the 4 turnovers, but his overall output was pretty good.
Justin Smith, 14 points on the night, 6 of 9 shooting. He didn't take a 3-point shot, so that makes me happy.
It does make me happy.
Although Race Thompson did. Why he is taking 3-point shots?
I know
he was wide open, maybe, but I don't know.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing with that is it's almost like it's become kind of free reign, because you saw an air ball out of Jerome Hunter from the corner, and there was tons of time left on the shot clock. It wasn't a last desperation shot. So, it's kind of like everyone feels like they have free reign to take 3-pointers, and I'm going to blame all that on Justin Smith. Of course, just because I want to, but
I would take it back a step further and blame it on Archie Miller.
Yeah, I mean, in the long run, I think they'll start to rein it in. I kind of thought tonight they might start to rein it in. They only took 10 3-point attempts. They're back down
where they should be.
Right. I think they'll be up north of 15 in the long run. I think they need to be. You've got to make more than 3-pointers to win games in the Big Ten, and they made 3 3-pointers, 3 out of 10 3-pointers, and that needs to be more like 7 or 8 out of 15 to 17. So they need to shoot more of it, but they definitely need to make some more.
Trace Jackson Davis, a nice little night, 11 points, 5 of 6 shooting, 1 or 2 at the free throw line. How many rebounds did he have? 4 rebounds. I mean, he was kind of a quiet night for him. It's when you get 11 points on 5 or 6 shooting, and that's a quiet night, that's not a bad deal.
Yeah, no, you're right. I mean, Trace Jackson Davis has set the bar so high for himself. I mean, he's come out and done really well, and put up big numbers, and so now when he doesn't do it, you kind of start to wonder if this is a slow night for him, and you'll take that. And I show Fulton be connected. Yeah, we're good.
All right.
I hope you can hear us now.
Can you
We've
hear
had a
me
lot of
now?
people come in the door recently. They're probably on the Wi-Fi around here, and that's
Yeah, we're on.
cost us.
There you go. Hey, guys. Hey, Bill.
Sorry about that. Hey, Bill.
The second half was obviously Archie seemed to say something at halftime because they played a lot better. They were very lifeless in that first half. There was not a lot of drive, They definitely did not look like the team that I watched the other night that was pushing the ball up the floor, that was hustling and moving. They were very lethargic. And one thing when we were walking out, something you said, is that's what happens when you play 5 teams like this.
Yep. I mean, that's one of those things that, it looked like the 5th game that they had played against a team that they, kind of expected to beat. And so, overall, it's still – it's tough to get up for it, I guess. I mean, it's a Wednesday night game, and it's your 5th game playing against opponents that you definitely should beat, and you're not all that excited about. And so, I mean, I think that's just a factor of the first half. Definitely looked like that to me. I mean, it looked like guys weren't all that excited about playing.
But you would think that, though, even though you haven't played teams that are very good, that only the 5th game into the season, you got to be fired up, man. I mean, I would think that you come out ready to play just because you're not playing against your teammates. For
I agree with you. There's no doubt. But I mean, it's I guess I call it human nature. I mean, it's just one of those things that I guess that's the way it is. It's hard to get that excited about it again because you're not playing against anybody you've ever heard of. You're not playing against anybody that you're not playing against anybody that you know anything about, and nobody cares. Everybody expects you to win. And when you come away with it, tomorrow everybody's going to write in the newspaper and online and everything else that you beat a bad team, and that's not true. I mean, Princeton isn't a terrible team, but Indiana was supposed to win and supposed to win by 20 plus, and they did.
I don't even know if we're on.
We're on.
You sure about that?
Yeah, we're on.
Okay. So now going forward, you've got to.
Now we might not be on. Publishing your live feed in the video. It shows we're still connected.
I'm so over this.
I mean, we got full power, and it shows we're connected.
We can't keep an audience like this.
Nope.
I'm fake smiling right now. One of these days, we're going to get these technical issues ironed out. Every time we think we've got them fixed, man.
They could hear us, they just can't see us. Now they can see us, but they could hear us the whole time.
Johnny G!
Johnny G, what are you doing still awake? With the railroad, you got to be up early, brother.
Second half, Indiana played a little bit more inspired basketball. It was not a great or fun game, but they pulled away. They imposed their will basically on those guys. We weren't expecting a lot, but
you saw the second half. You saw the difference between a team that's playing 10, 11 guys and a team that's playing 6 and 7 guys. And Indiana wore them down, and the shots weren't falling, probably because Princeton's legs were tired. And overall, it's what should have happened. It's truly what should have happened. Of course, everyone's going to look back on that first half and say, why weren't they ahead by more in the first half? But overall, I think it's probably the way the coaches probably thought it would play out. If Princeton had hit more shots in the first half and shot really well, shot 55% in the first half, Indiana had been down, no doubt about it.
When you were playing, and I know it's hard to compare these type teams. It's different era, different mental thought process of the players. But this early in the season, were you guys this lethargic if you were playing against teams like this?
You know, I do know when we went and played in the Indiana Classics and the Hoosier Classics and some of those, it was pretty difficult to get excited about it.
Right. But when you're on that floor, I mean,
that's the thing. You're battling for playing time. So, yeah, we always wanted to play. Look, I'm not a practice player. I hated practice. So the games were, they're the cherry on top, and they're what – there's what you work so hard for and what we did all summer long and what we worked for. So, yeah, of course we're playing hard and we still wanted to do that. But don't let – I'm not even going to try to fool you. There is definite difference between playing a CBS game in the Hoosier Dome against Kentucky and playing in the Indiana Classic against UC Santa Barbara. And, it's just different. There's just no way of telling you that's different. It's definitely a different feeling. JCC, I see her.
That's right. I don't know, man. Maybe this is old school thinking, but I this early in the season especially, I'm thinking I'm busting my butt because I want those minutes. I want as much playing time. Because we've talked about this rotation is going to shrink.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing that you forget. Here's the thing that no one's going to think about, all right? Tomorrow, when we get done with this broadcast tonight, it's going to be, 10:30, 11 o'clock or whatever it is, and we're going to be tired, okay? Well, we didn't play 25 or 30 minutes in this game, and we didn't warm up as hard as they did. I mean, we didn't do anything as hard as what they did warming up tonight. And then tomorrow, they're going to be busting their butt again, and that's what nobody thinks about. Tomorrow at 3 o'clock, these guys are going to be an hour and a half or 2 hours into a crazy hard practice. And then Friday, they're going to be doing the same thing. And then Saturday, they don't have any games. They're going to be doing the same thing at probably 8:30 in the morning. And so people, I'm not making excuses for it. I'm the first one to tell you, you are insanely lucky as an IU basketball player, and I wouldn't trade it for the world. But also people forget. I mean, when they wake up tomorrow, somebody got a Charlie horse in the leg, and somebody's knee hurts, and somebody's foot is bothering them, and somebody's got a toe issue. I mean, you can keep going on and on. Everybody's got some problems. And, yeah, I just listed all of my ailments is what I really just did. But I mean, everybody's got something that hurts tomorrow, and they're going to be practicing full blast, and they're going to be going 100%. And so, next Monday when they play who is it next Monday? I forget. It's I can't even remember. It's not South Dakota State, but it's no, that's the next one. But anyway, I mean, it's not an exciting game next Monday either. And then the following game is Saturday is not an exciting one there. But then from then on, then they're all exciting. Then they're on ESPN, and then they're on CBS, and then they're on all those games. And you won't see that first half effort in those games, I promise.
And it wasn't just the players. The Assembly Hall.
It's the crowd.
Tonight. And Jennifer Land points out, is it hard for the fans to get excited about these games? Yes. There's nothing exciting happening. It was a boring first half.
You go into it expecting them to win. You go into it expecting them to blow them out. And when that happens, that's exactly what you want to happen. I mean, that's exactly, what you expect. And so, you're not going to get overly excited about it, but come Big Ten time, and when you get Michigan State, who's ranked in the top 10 in there, and Michigan and Ohio State and all them, the crowd will be different at that point. The players will warm up differently. I'm just telling you, when I'm not an athletic person at all, but when the crowd gets crazy and excited before the game start, I can dunk. I can do all kinds of crazy stuff, just because you get that much more fired up. And the players and kids, these are 18, 19, 20-year-old kids. I mean, they're no different than everybody else in that gym is. Like, they get more excited when the game's a bigger game. There's no two ways about it.
Tim points out that Princeton scored 54 points tonight. Indiana had 50 in the paint alone. So, again, another game where they're really pounding it down low. They can do that right now. There's going to come a day where that's not going to be the opportunity. They're going to have to hit some outside shots, which they don't have to right now, and their guard's poor at the moment with trying to get guys healthy and get them on the floor at the same time, so they can get away with that, and maybe it's good practice for this front court right now.
Yeah, I mean, you're never going to complain about points in the paint, that's for sure. It's just, this is one of those situations that you'd like to see a little bit more outside shooting. You'd like to see them drive. You'd like to see them execute a little bit better. The first half, the execution was horrible. I mean, there was a lot of the bad shooting and the stuff that was going on was because there was no offense being run. These guys were going one-on-one, and they were trying to create things on their own, and Indiana doesn't have a bunch of guys that are really good at that. So, you think about the way they played in that first half. They had Trace Jackson-Davis made a fadeaway 18, 19-footer, and Devontae Green made a throw-up last-second three-pointer that went in. And, I mean, you take those 5 points away, they're down. And those are two baskets that probably shouldn't have gone in. So, there's a lot of things in that first half that this is the kind of the funny part. Of course, Archie Miller wants them to have played a perfect game. Okay, of course he does. But from a coaching perspective, his big thing he talked about all summer long was being humble. Maybe that first half kind of humbles them just a little bit. I mean, maybe they realize they're not invincible. Maybe they realize that they can't take things lightly and can't take teams lightly. And, maybe that first half from a coaching perspective is not the worst thing that ever happened.
One thing about the first half, even though it was slow and seemed not really eventful, I think they had 6 or 7 guys that scored. Their first 8 points was 4 different guys. And then they had 6 or 7 guys score pretty quickly within that game.
You're saying they, Indiana?
Indiana, rather.
Yep.
Good distribution there for a minute, and then it kind of died.
It did. I'm telling you, the offense really just kind of stagnated, and there wasn't a lot of ball movement. The screening, like I said, I'm going to be pretty critical right now about this, and the average person's not going to look at it the way I'm looking at it right now. But I'm telling you, I've watched these full games in detail, and the screening on this team is one of the things they need to improve on the most. Like they have a lot of, when you slip screen, when you go to set a screen, you kind of leave early and cut to the basket. They do that about 50% of the time they set a screen, and you should do that like 1 out of every 8 or 9 screens. And they need to be setting a little bit better screens and doing a better job of getting guys open. And I haven't seen a whole lot. I definitely didn't see a lot of it in the game today.
Hey, Josh from Southern Indiana. How you doing, brother? We appreciate you being on.
J-Dog.
Jennifer Land. Louisiana Tech on Monday. Thank you, Jennifer.
Yes,
thank you, Tim.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Robert
Louisiana
Carter's
Tech,
at
South
Evansville.
Dakota State. That's the final 2 layup games they have, yeah.
Yeah, Outlaw Tech. Johnny G, did you go with a hooded 4-iron or play it safe and punch it out sideways?
What was that?
Johnny G.
Johnny G.
I'm
Go to
assuming
sleep.
that is a
go to sleep, Johnny.
A backwards something.
Thank you to Yogis for turning the music down tonight.
Yes,
it is
absolutely.
much better than it has
Glenn,
been.
my man, go Knowles, man.
Yeah.
Love my boy Glenn.
Go Knowles.
Hey, he always says that. It's a thing between us. He lives down in Tallahassee.
Okay.
Good
All
dude.
right.
Thanks, Glenn.
What's he going to do in 2 weeks?
Hey, that's right, brother. Hey, we play the Knowles in a couple weeks,
We'll
brother.
be cutting Glenn off on there. We'll be blocking you, brother.
Bill said they
For
got
one
what
game.
I call a quiet lead because the defense held Princeton down, not because they had a huge offensive push. Yeah, it was just, man, it was easy to go through the motions, and you talked about this earlier. It's hard to get up for teams that you're supposed to beat and they're going to beat. Not to say that it's impossible to lose that game because we saw how close that game actually was in the first half. Now, they woke up and kind of imposed their will a little bit, which they weren't doing so much. But sometimes teams don't snap out of that. And you just stay in that lull, and, boy, next thing you know, you're like, oh, crap.
Yeah, I mean, they scored 44 points in the second half. I mean, you can't say that they didn't have a decent output in the second half.
Oh, no, I'm not.
I'm not saying you. I'm saying, Bill mentioned the fact that the defense held them down. It isn't like the offense went crazy. And this is, like I said, I said this last week. I mean, this team's not going to score 90 a game. They're averaging 90 a game right now. When the Big Ten comes into play, they're going to be averaging between 70 and 75. And if they get up to 80, they'll be in the top 2 or 3 in the Big Ten. And that's for sure. So, this team is – it's not just this team. That's the style of play. That's the way that it is. There'll be a couple of games they score 90 in the Big Ten. There'll be a couple of games they score 55. And you just got to figure out a way to win those games you score 55.
Kelly Martin on here asking, how do you feel about going into the Big Ten? If this was today, it would be not good. But luckily they have probably 4 or 5 more games. A couple of those are going to be tough before they hit Big Ten play. But they better be ready for Florida State. They better be ready for UConn in New York. That's going to be a pro-UConn crowd up there.
Yeah,
so,
for sure.
They have Florida State here, but things are going to get ramped up because Florida State's not going to come in here lay down like Princeton. I don't need Princeton to lay down, but they're going to
have more athletes.
They're going to have more firepower.
They're going to have some athletes on the floor, and they're going to, Indiana starts out, the 7th of December they've got Wisconsin here, and then the 13th of December they're at Wisconsin, then they've got Nebraska here. So they start out in the Big Ten, in the next 3 weeks, and so those are a couple games you need to get off to a good start on and win early.
Alan says this first half of them tonight was a pure learning experience. We just have to hope they took it that way. But to me, it shouldn't be a learning experience.
Yeah, but tomorrow, the learning experience will be tomorrow on the film.
Yeah.
It will be. And it'll be a long one. It'll be ugly, and yeah, it'll be a long one. No doubt about
Emily,
that.
how are you doing? Robert Carter, the truth, says talk about the 2020 class. Well, the 2020 class is what it is already. I mean, it did not change today, as you know, that Dawson Garcia, Indiana, a big push for him, but at the end of the day, I don't think they really had a shot at this guy.
No, it doesn't look like they did. And here's the thing, if they lose him to Kentucky or to Duke or to Kansas or to someone that he picked that school because it's overall they got out recruited, then you can look at it as a loss. This kid, he even said it himself. Since his visit, he's been decided he's going to Marquette, and that's where he's wanted to go all along. And hey, Laz. And so, I mean, sorry, Laz was waving to me.
Laskowski?
Yeah.
Which one, John or Scott?
John. Super sub. So, I mean, this kid knew he was going to Marquette. This is what pisses me off is if he made the statement that he's known he's going to Marquette since he went on his visit, well, then why did you waste everybody's time? Why did you waste tens, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars for all these schools that have been courting you and coming to see you and flying you out to their place? If you knew when you went to Marquette, then you know what? I do have a problem with that. I will root against a kid like that because you've been you wanted everybody to come out and just tell you how great you are and enjoying everybody rubbing on you. And you know what? I got nothing for that. If he knew he was going to go there, that's the thing I always said from the beginning. If he came to Indiana and he knew he was going to Indiana, you just tell everybody, hey, there's no need for me to visit. I know where I'm going. And if that's the way he felt about Marquette, which I would have no problem with, he could make a very strong argument that that's the best place for him to go. But don't go to everybody else and have them, telling you how great you are and saying you're still in my top 5. You can stick that top 5. I have zero good feeling about that.
Robert asked about the 2020 class, so that leaves Trey Galloway, Anthony Leo, and Jordan Geronimo from up the Northeast.
We're gonna have fun saying that one. That's gonna
Geronimo.
Be Geronimo. That's gonna be a badass name. I love it.
Chuck Crabway won't cut loose, but if you
where was Chuck tonight?
I have no idea. That's a good question.
We missed Chuck tonight. Absolutely. Not that the guy who did it didn't do a great job, but we missed Chuck.
But if you had a different announcer, you could possibly get a Geronimo. But I won't be seeing that out of him. All right, so the class they have coming in after what you see that they have tonight, what does this class offer other than more solid players? There's no elite. There's no Anthony Leo's probably the best shooter of those 3, but I haven't seen Jordan Geronimo. None of us, other than the guys that follow the recruiting on it, haven't seen Jordan Geronimo play. Archie talked about his length. He's got the biggest wingspan on the team at only 6'6". That's pretty good.
Yeah, so that's crazy.
That's got to be very helpful to be a 6'6" guy and have the biggest wingspan on the team.
I would have no point of reference when it comes to that. My girlfriend has a longer wingspan than I do, if that tells you anything.
Alligator arms?
Yeah, big time, no doubt about it. But, those are just stats. When you look at, I did this a while back and looked at, I looked at the average NBA player. This is something that's kind of crazy. Go look this up. It's online. The average NBA player that's 6'3", guess what his wingspan is? Average wingspan for a 6'3" player in the NBA is 6'9". The average.
Why are they so much bigger?
It's just, that tells you like what it takes to play at that level. I mean, not only is it pure, it's unbelievable ability. It takes God-given gift of, having a certain body type, and that's. It's incredible when you look at the difference. Greg Graham was a great example of that in my class. And Greg is the same height as me, but his wingspan is probably 6 or 7 inches longer than mine. And that makes – that's why he's defensive player of the year. It's amazing. But, there's no doubt about it. It's factual.
So you couldn't wear his suit coats, I'm assuming.
No. And nor could he wear mine.
Who was it that just saw it? Bill pointed out, Jordan, you must love George Geronimo then, because that's exactly what he did.
Yeah.
He came here. He came. He saw. Said, "Yes, I want that."
Bingo.
Now, of course, that's a guy who thought he was going to be playing Division III basketball. He comes here. He sees Assembly Hall. They put the bum rush on him. He's like, "Wow, yes, I'm in." And he did that at least. He said, "All right, I'm done with you guys. This is where I'm going."
I'm telling you right now, you give me a team full of those guys who know Indiana is the place for them, and I'll beat the crap out of your team full of top 25 ranked by fat dudes sitting in their underwear watching AAU games on TV.
Tim wants to know, does Christian Lander reclassify? I say no, he does not. He's not going to reclassify. I think he would have probably already said that. I don't think that he's going to, personally. I don't know that for a fact. I've talked to his dad, Keith, numerous times, but I don't personally think he's going to. But we'll see
you 2021?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, why would he reclassify?
Some kids do. They get to college sooner. They just all it does is push the process.
I mean,
ahead.
if you thought there was a reason, if you thought there was a playing time issue and there was a recruiting class reason why he should do that for his own benefit, then maybe you could make an argument for it.
Well, the only argument for it is because Archie has tried now for 2.5 seasons to land a point guard after getting Rob Finney, and he has not been able to land one. That's why they don't have a true backup point
What's
guard.
Armand Franklin?
He's a two guard. He's being put in that position. Al Durham's being put in that position, but that's not their natural positions. And Archie has made several attempts to land a point guard, and he's not been able to do so. And there's some recruiting problems there. I know you're not going to agree with that, but I'm telling you, they lose Dawson Garcia, another elite player again. The kids that are not living within the state of Indiana, they do not have that love for this.
We're going to make a deal. We're going to make a deal with each other. You can call someone an elite player when you are willing to back up the person who's called him elite, the person who has rated him at whatever he is. When you're willing to say that person knows what they're talking about.
A perceived elite player.
Okay, and he may be the best player in the country, no doubt about it. But beyond him, let's just talk about players in general. The rating system is so flawed and ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It's the stupidest thing I've ever seen.
You should become with somebody who does that because you love that.
It takes zero qualification, I can tell you that. We could all do it. Heck, we could all, if we all get whatever feed it comes on the internet, we could all sit home in our underwear and get on these videos and watch that stuff that's going on and just sit there and talk about what player dunked well and who looked athletic today and who's got the longest wingspan. I mean, we got nothing else to do in the summertime. That's what those guys do.
Tim says that your wingspan is usually 2 inches different than your height.
I thought it was the same as your height.
I don't know.
Tim's taller than the average person.
Johnny G, he was talking about you. There you go. Richard says that's what Archie was used to at Dayton. I'm not sure what you.
What's what he was used to?
I'm not sure which comment he's referring to there.
No.
It's 2019. Positions don't exist anymore. That must have.
Yeah. Hey, you know what though? That's actually a decent point. I mean, look at Indiana tonight. They went heavy on the big guys tonight. I mean, Joey Brunk and Trace Jackson Davis played a lot more together. If you add Justin Smith to that, you had a big lineup in there tonight, and you only have 2 guards positions available if all those guys are on the court. So, this team shows the ability to play different kinds of lineups. I'll give them that. And tonight they went with the heavy lineup. They went with the big package,
which has been mostly for this season because of their health situation at guard.
Yeah, but I mean, look at what we're not saying right now. I mean, the last game, all we talked about was how fast they went up and down the court, and we didn't talk about that tonight. We talked about how they were able to score on the interior.
Why did they not do that tonight after making that a point of emphasis in the last game? And you come out tonight, and it was like watching the.
You're not going to do that.
Show.
You're not going to do that with Joey Brunk playing 25 minutes on the floor. I mean, you're going to have to slow it down a little bit. Trace Jackson Davis is insanely. I mean, he's an athletic guy, and getting up and down the court, he can get up and down with anybody. But you're going to want him to be a part of the offense. You're not going to want to try to get down there and score before he gets past half court. So. This just wasn't the lineup to try to push it. Now, hey, Indiana pushed it down the floor when they had the opportunity. When they got the rebound, they got to half court as fast as possible. And there's just a lot of times they backed it back out at that point, and that's what you want to see. That's what I want to see out of them. I thought they played pretty quick.
And Bill pointed out, and I remember one play in particular, Joey Brunk playing against a double team, and was able to cut the double team and score.
On that 7 pivot move, the 7 pivot move he had in there, that was straight out of Bill Lambier, Kevin McHale.
And no walking call.
School. It was pretty nice. He showed all that. It was 3 fakes and 3 pivots. That's pretty nice. You don't see that much anymore.
Justin Smith, he scored, what did I say, 14 points on the night? I forget what I have. But it was, even with him, it seemed kind of quiet, 14 points.
Did he really? Yeah, I would not have guessed that.
14 points, yeah. It was a quiet 14 points for him tonight.
It was a no three-pointer, 14 points. 6 of 9 shooting. I mean, man, 2 for 2 from the line. I mean, that's pretty good. That's pretty solid.
Especially when it's quiet like that and you could put that kind of stat line together.
Yeah.
That means you're not doing anything that's getting your attention in a bad way.
Yeah, the only bad part is the 3 rebounds. I mean, that's this team, they only had 27 rebounds in the game. Is that right? No, 34 rebounds in the game. Yeah, I mean, he only had 3 rebounds. That's not great. That's not what you expect out of him, or that's not what you want out of him.
No, but you're also going to have different guys having a night like tonight. Joey Brunk had 8 rebounds. I forget what Trace had. I think he may have had 6, if I remember looking at that. But
Trace Jackson Davis had 4
rebounds.
4 rebounds.
Somebody had 6, I thought. But
5 out of Race Thompson.
And that's, again, Race Thompson had a slow first half, but the whole team did. So he fell into that deal with the rest of the team in the first half. He came alive in the second half. He could have had 4 points in the first half. He missed two bunnies.
Yeah, he did. Yeah. His stat line could have been 4 for 5 instead of 2 for 5 because he definitely missed 2 bunnies.
Now, there's going to be games where that's going to matter immensely, these 2 points.
I don't think he tried to miss them, Jack.
I hear you, but and you can't blame on any missed shot.
I know. The missed shots are the thing I worry about the least.
You missed every now and then, did you?
No.
I didn't think so.
Nope.
I didn't think so.
So long ago, and there's no tape to prove it anymore. They've all perished.
Robert says the team looks like they're a 2002 team.
Okay. 2002, like 2001, 2002, like Final Four 2002. Yeah. Okay.
This team,
I like it. Who said that? Who said
Robert, the truth.
The truth. If he said it's the truth.
Tim Tebow says Blake Wesley had a great visit. His dad says IU knocked it out of the park. Says his son can play several positions at 6'5" and should add a couple inches to that. That's how Archie plays his players. He certainly has that love of those 6'5", 6'6", 6'7", 6'8" guys.
Who doesn't?
Well, I'm just saying he has a lot. Seems like a lot more of those, and then just brings up the edges with sprinkles in with the little point guard or whatever, and a big man here and there. But that is his milieu of going to those guys and making that a non-position team. Like
but if you go to a Nike AAU tournament or a Gauntlet AAU tournament or an Under Armour tournament, 75% of the guys that are there fall between 6'4" and 6'9" probably. I mean, and maybe 6'3" and 6'8", but that's what almost everybody in the gym is. I mean, very few guys that are 6'10" or 11, and there's very few guys that that are 5'9". So that's where the majority of the guys, where the majority of the pool comes from.
Johnny Ballgame asked a great question that I definitely don't know the
That's
answer
a
to.
Statement that's never been said before.
I know. I thought I'd throw one out there, just throw it out.
Make him feel better.
When did the star system start? I was going to say after you got out.
Sorry, he choked me up. There.
I don't know when the star system started. I don't remember, but it's. I'd say within the last 20 years.
Oh, for sure. For sure. I don't know how.
Recruiting became a business. It's like everything else. It's become a business. Recruiting services. People reading. I don't follow it, but the recruiting.
You're just saying that because I'm here. You follow it.
No, I mean I don't chase the recruit. I don't go to every one of these events and watch. I'll let other people do that. That's not.
We let Nick do that. For us.
Absolutely. It's absolutely not my expertise. I can't tell you how good a 16-year-old kid's going to be. I don't know. He's going to change. He's going to change. How's he going to grow? How much weight's he going to put on? How much stronger is he going to
get? A 16-year-old you can come pretty close at. When you get the guys that are ranking the 7th graders, that's when it's a joke. I mean, all they're doing at that point is rating the most athletic and the the tallest and most athletic kid at that point. So, that's when it's a true joke. But overall, I mean, here's the way you look at that as a fan, and I hope fans can put this together and can at least embrace this a little bit, because I know everybody wants the top, everybody wants the top 10 players. I mean, everybody wants Kentucky or Duke's recruiting class. I mean, everybody wants to have that. They want to have the number 1 rated recruiting class, which that rating is based on people who don't know what they're talking about either. But you want a team where you're recruiting for the type of player that you need for the program that you have. And so the number 10 overall recruit might not play the way that Indiana needs a forward to play, or a big man to play, or a point guard to play. He might not be that type of player. And so to think that you have to go after him because he's rated number 10 does not make any sense. It's complete. It's a misnomer that people should understand is not true. Like, the people who rate these kids, 1, don't really know what they're talking about, but 2, just because a kid's rated 10th doesn't mean he fits within Indiana's system of what they need. And I just wish more people would understand and get excited about every recruit they get, because Archie's not going to recruit a kid that can't play. And so every kid that comes in there is going to be able to help this team in some way. And I wish they were just as excited about someone who yeah. So anyone that he signs he thinks can help this team, and if he thinks it, everyone should back it up, because I trust Archie's opinion a lot more than I trust the idiots that are sitting there ranking people.
Oh, I think the fans they're excited about the 3 guys that they have in this class.
But there's a letdown. I mean, there's no two ways about it. You were even let down a little bit today, and you knew it. You knew it yesterday. You knew it 2 days ago.
It's not let down. It's just, I think that this is going to hurt this team, because if Trace Jackson-Davis ends up going pro earlier after 2 years, you're going to have Race Thompson and some freshmen out there.
Did you know Dawson Garcia's name 2 years ago?
Absolutely not.
So how do you know there's not another Dawson Garcia out there that you're going to know about in 2 years? Why are we worried about 2 years from now?
You're talking about being on the Indiana team 2 years from now?
Yeah.
Well, that means they have to recruit him and land him, though, before that happens.
Maybe.
And that's not happening.
But you didn't know Dawson Garcia's name 2 years ago, and we're worried about landing him today?
It's not about not knowing. It is about them getting it done. It's not. They're not getting the players they need. 2 years from now, if Trace Jackson-Davis goes early, they're going to be in trouble, because you're going to have Race Thompson and whatever freshman they've signed. I didn't think that Dawson Garcia was going to come in and be a difference maker as a freshman. Even as good as he is. I don't see that. I mean, Trace Jackson-Davis is doing a good job, but you usually have upperclassmen in front of you that you can learn from and learn the system from and get beat on and banged on a little bit. I mean, you went through it as a freshman. You had guys that are older than you that taught you the way, and I think they're going to be just very young in the front court if they can't get someone landed in this class. If it's next year, then they're going to be freshmen.
How tall is Dawson Garcia?
6'11", I think.
6'11". Okay, I mean, truly, how many 6'11" guys are there across the country right now that can play at Indiana's level? Yeah, I mean, there's not very many. So the pool is so small on whether you get one of those. That's where you get what they're saying on there. Either there's it's positionless nowadays. Indiana may be the fastest and the number 1 scoring team in the nation 2 years from now, and there might not be anyone on the team over 6'8". I mean, I don't know. We can't really predict that right now. I look, if
Michigan State didn't play very, very big. I mean, they kind of play like exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, and here's the thing that you're not factoring into it: the transfer portal, or whatever we call it now, the grad transfer rule. I mean, we'll find a kid from a Princeton or from a some school.
Well, they're going to have to.
But that's what happens nowadays. There's tons of kids. I mean, look, Evan Fitzner was 6'10" or 11" or whatever, and we brought him in. It didn't end up being as great as they thought he was going to be, but nobody knew his name 2 years before he came here. They'll find someone. Believe me. There's a kid out there. No one thought 1 year ago today. No one thought Joey Brunk would be playing in an Indiana uniform. And now all of a sudden he's starting and playing 25 minutes a game, the leading scorer on the floor.
Tim asked, are you still 6'3"? He was never 6'3". He lied to y'all. Do you believe that stuff?
Just look at the program. 6'3". You got a
believe
problem
it
with
if it's written down.
You got a problem?
Johnny G's renaming the show again.
What is it?
He says soon's going to be Indiana Sports Beat with Coyle Leary in ball game. Alan Hughes, no.
Are we
to
getting
the
a dog
top 5
named ball
recruiting
game?
Class crap. Alan, here you go. Alan doesn't like the top 5 recruiting. All the time, guys, kids want to play and they're going to stay. So he wants kids that's going to be here, like Anthony Leo, like Trey Galloway, like George Geronimo, and a lot of the kids they have on this roster right now. Nobody's even Trace Jackson Davis. He's going to be here minimum 2 years. He's not a one and done. You don't have to worry about him leaving. He's going to put in.
I got him 3 years.
I
got him 3 years.
It's very possible, and I think that he's the kind of kid that I would not be shocked about that. And boy, can you imagine him 2 years from now? He'd be damn good.
Oh,
and that's what you need.
He'd be dominant. But at that point, if you're Indiana, at that point, you almost have to slow it down. You almost have to wait for him to get down the court every time and make sure that he touches it. And I'm not sure they're going to be that kind of team either. I mean, you're talking about Trey Galloway. I mean, you're talking about a kid that's very, very similar to Tyler Hero, the kid that was one and done at Kentucky last year. Trey Galloway is that good, I'm telling you.
Look at Jake jumping on your back. Come on, Jake. Didn't know Joey.
Attaboy, Jake.
Yeah,
you see
whatever.
it.
I see you.
1 year ago, there isn't a single person that isn't the last name Brunk that would have told you Joey Brunk was going to be in an Indiana uniform. And right now, all we did in the whole first part of the show is talk about how he dominated the whole game.
Kevin says someone will pop up from somewhere. It
Bingo.
should work its way out.
Absolutely.
Josh, I love Race Thompson's workmanlike style of the game. He doesn't take anything for granted and goes after the ball when it comes off the rim. Absolutely. He's his game this year, man, he's just done just that. He had a sucky first half, but the whole team did, and they were just in this lull. But he came out, like the rest of them did, and played much better in the second half.
We're going to have to ask him again. What's the guy's name on the 87 championship team that played center? What was his name?
Daryl Thomas?
Daryl Thomas. He's my Daryl Thomas of this team.
Who was 6'7".
That's what I mean. Isn't that what about Race Thompson is? 6'8"-ish?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's what he's built like that. I mean, he's big and strong, and you don't want him shooting from the outside, and he seems like he goes after every rebound. The only thing I'm not insulting Race Thompson is he's a lot more athletic than Daryl Thomas was, and I love me some Daryl Thomas, trust me. But I mean, Race Thompson is an athlete. I mean, he's Blake Griffin in a different face. I mean, this dude is athletic.
Yeah, Daryl Thomas was different. He was not a shooter from outside. And
neither is Race Thompson.
Exactly. He should have taken that 3-point shot today either. How much do you think you'd ever seen Daryl Thomas?
The funny part is, though, I think Race Thompson will understand, like the way he took that. I don't think we'll see Race. I don't think we'll see Race Thompson. He'll take some more 3-pointers, but he won't make a habit of every game shooting a 3-pointer.
He didn't want to take that.
You could tell. He didn't.
Kind of faked. He's like, I'm wide open.
But that's the kind of that's a basketball IQ. That's him knowing it's not a great shot. But at that point in time, it was almost kind of he had to take it at that point. There'll be another point in time when he'll probably end the season with 5 3-point attempts, but he won't end the game with 5 3-point attempts like some other guys.
Plus, if he hit that shot, then that forces the defense.
If he hit it, he's going to take another one. You can't end on a make.
I don't know. I think he may have said cut his losses early, but Alan Hughes, Bill Evans, thank you to Jared Jeffries. He said Bill said, I'll take a Jared Jeffries over an Evans Pitcher type any day. Well, of course. Jared Jeffries was a dang on All-American.
Yeah, I'll take him too.
Dean Garrett too, Johnny G says. Dean Garrett was a big man, 6'10".
Johnny G's is throwing out any name he can remember of somebody that played at Indiana. He has no idea.
Hopefully we can land Trey Kaufman and Caleb First in 2021. Yeah, that's going to be Caleb First. I see him being an Indiana get if that's what they want. Trey Kaufman, that's going to be a little tougher, man. He's down there in the Louisville area, and I know that Louisville's looking at him. I've heard that would love an offer from Kentucky. Indiana's been recruiting him heavily. Big 6'8" kid from Silver Creek. Steve Green, where Steve Green went. Bob Knight's first recruit ever. He has really elevated his game.
Trey Kaufman's from Silver Creek?
Yes.
Well, we need to go do a show from there. We'll talk him into going here. Give me 5 minutes with him. I'll let you know whether he's coming or not.
Well, this ain't the loser hysterics, man. We don't recruit. We're not into recruiting.
Silver Creek's in Indiana, right?
Yeah, but we're not into recruiters.
He ain't going to Louisville.
He just might.
He ain't going to Louisville.
Keep your questions coming. We appreciate that. We turned into like a recruiting show all of a sudden. But that's okay.
Yeah, you did. You got me. You got me monologuing on
questions,
recruits.
man. The questions. Danny, thanks a lot for joining us. Kelly says that was a perfect example. Yeah. But, yeah, I mean, Archie's been trying to get this roster built the way he wants it. Because this is his third season. He's had to filter through some players. A couple guys have left, but he's still trying to get his guys how he wants them. He's about there. I think he's still missing a piece, like not Dawson Garcia, but something like that.
You know better than to say that again.
Something like that. Hey, we disagree on that. It's not Dawson Garcia that they needed to land. They need to land somebody in that position.
Did my Joey Brunk example not teach you
No.
to just shut up?
No.
You didn't know he was going to be playing
This would be very
there?
boring if I listened to everything you say. This
You'd
would
be a lot
so
smarter.
It would be like watching the Indiana Princeton
faster
game
you
tonight.
just listen to and agree with me, the smarter you're going to be. Smarter you're going to
It'd
sound.
be like watching Princeton, Indiana. Fireside Grill in Sellersburg. Yeah, that's a good place to hang.
Johnny G, we'll meet you at Silver Creek.
Yeah. Southern Indiana is where it's at, man.
He's
That's
down
right.
there. He's down there.
Oh,
He'll
no,
ride
he's
the
down in
train.
Albany.
He'll
Oh,
ride
he's
the
in Floyd
train up
Knobs.
there.
He's in Floyd Knobs.
He'll ride the train up there.
Well, ride it up here and pick us up and bring us down there. Indiana's got another game coming up on Monday.
Louisiana Tech.
I think that you want to see them play like they played the last game as opposed to this game when you first in this first half.
I want to, yeah. I mean, I want to see them
Why
play.
would you not? Why would they not come out and play like their hair's on fire? I mean,
I think the first half of this game will wake them up a little bit. I think they'll play a little bit different. I think this will be a little teaching moment for Indiana and for the younger guys. You know, what's another thing we haven't talked about? I mean, we're kind of ripping them a little bit for not having great fire and coming out in this ball game. But they're young.
Man.
They're young in Indiana uniforms. They're young, and so give them a little credit. They're pretty young.
who's young?
Armand.
I mean, you got Trace Jackson, but Armand's not
Joey
a guy
Brunk.
Joey Brunk's not young. He's a third-year sophomore.
I said in an Indiana uniform.
Oh, well, that
He's
doesn't
5
matter.
games into his career.
Man, this is his third year in college.
He played at
basketball.
Butler before. That's not the same level. It's not the same
man.
level. It's not the same. How many people would have been in the Butler game tonight? 1,500.
I don't know what they have up there.
Just
going
telling
on
you, it's not the same level. It's not the same thing. You know how badly I'm going to get ripped for saying this right now?
Yes, I
know.
do. That's why I'm like,
You want to know why? You want to know why? Because they beat me the last time that I ever played against them. They beat us. There's nothing I can say about it. They're absolutely right. And the fact that they're talking about it 30 years later just tells you how important it was to them.
Kelly wants Brian Sloan again. I'll meddling my man, brother. How are you? Bill Evans says Trey Kaufman will not get an offer from Kentucky. He's not a top 15 recruit in the country.
Good call.
Good point. And the fact that since he's not, even if he did, his butt's going to be on the bench, man. I mean, if you're not in that
So you're insulting him right now. I mean, we're trying to go down there and try to pick him up.
If he's going to go to Kentucky, he's not going to play.
You don't think?
No.
I've never seen him play. I can't say that. I don't know.
Well, it's not that he's not good. He's not talented because of exactly what they just pointed out.
I'm so
He's not a
looking
top
forward to
15.
us spending some Friday nights going to some Silver Creek games and
Boy.
traveling around the state and watching some guys play.
Robert
Landers, I can't wait to watch Landers play down there. He's like 10 minutes from my house.
Johnny G said, I'm not that young. You don't have to remind me. Trust me, I know. Robert Carter points out, though, something.
Can you block people on this? Block Johnny G. You're done for the night.
Robert Carter points out something. 5-0. Very important.
Bingo.
Actually, 5-0. They've not had this start.
You know why it's bingo? Because he's the truth.
That's right.
He tells the truth.
That's right. They have not had a 5-0 start since, I forget how long it's been. It's been probably 10 years. But
What?
I think that also.
You sure about that?
6, 7, I don't know. But I think part of that is because this week's schedule. They probably
That's
played,
not part of it. That's 100% it. I mean, that's we're not BSing anybody here. That's 100% the reason why. Doesn't mean they might not can be 10-0 and then they finish this little run they're getting ready to start December with. But we're going to find out. There's no doubt. Here's the thing. Somebody sitting at the bar in here before the game today was making a statement earlier today. What?
Robert Carter says, you need to call me
the truth. I did. He is the truth. But somebody said this earlier today, and I mean, it just doesn't make any sense to me. Is they're complaining about the schedule, and right now they're 5-0. By a week from Saturday, they're going to be 7-0. That's a guaranteed fact. They're going to be 7-0. Okay, but then in December, every single game is a good game. Like, we're not going to be able to take one single game and say, oh, my gosh, they should have played a better opponent. The schedule's getting ready to go from, like, one of the weakest in the country to one of the top 30 in the country in 30 days. So everybody just sit back. You're going to get all the good basketball you want to get. Just give yourself a month.
Well, you're not, I don't know about the good basketball, but you're going to get all the challenge that you want.
Bingo.
Tim Tebow says,
True.
Did you see Ohio State fans are boycotting college game day Saturday? No. Game day could come to IU, but they would welcome you. Yeah, I don't know what that's about. Why are they boycotting, Tim? Andrew, how are you doing,
Who are they
brother?
playing? Who's Ohio State playing? Penn State? Is that this weekend? Ohio State, Penn State? Why would game day be there? Why would game day be?
It is Penn State.
They're probably boycotting it because it'll be a boring game because Ohio State's going to win by 40.
Bill says he can't wait for the FSU game. Be careful what you wish for. I haven't seen Florida State play this year.
Is he the Go Noles guy? Is he the Go Noles
No.
guy?
Oh, that's Glenn. I haven't seen Florida State play, but I know in the last couple of years.
They beat Florida. Florida was ranked in the top 15 to start the year, and they beat Florida second game of the year.
And
so
Florida
they can't
had
do
a great recruiting class. They've been doing well under was it Mike White?
Mike White.
I think. Yeah. They've been doing.
They lost one of the top assistants in the country this year, though. So there's Dusty May.
Oh, former IU guy?
Yeah.
Where did he go? Did he become a head coach?
Florida Atlantic, I want to say.
To become head coach?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was on the show earlier this year.
No, he's awesome.
Yeah, Dusty.
He looks just like Mike White. The two guys look just alike.
That's funny. Hey,
he's legit.
Quick reminder: what you're listening to after the game with Todd Leary, of course, coming to you live from Yogi's here in Bloomington, Indiana. Yogi's 2.0. See Starling over there. Starling, how you doing? With the managers here. Appreciate the Finney Hospitality Group. Chris Martin, Nathan, Finney, everybody. Trying to think of a lot of people that work here. Your son, we give him a shout out. But
he took off early tonight.
That's right. Josh Bays says, yes, 5-0 is the main thing right now as this team continues to grow together. I'm liking the chemistry. This team is building and it continues. We will be a very good team and tough to beat. Tougher.
That's the fun part. Yeah, you know what? We get to talk about it because they're 5-0. They're going to be 7-0. But we're going to have, like, these broadcasts are going to be fun for us to sit here and go back and forth after Florida State and UConn and Wisconsin and Nebraska and those games. I mean, those are going to be fun for us to sit here and talk how they did in those ball games.
As they've been playing these teams that are not really challenging, not really challenging them like they're going to be challenged.
Right.
Do they need that to get woken up? Do they need this Florida State game to, like, hey, slap in the face, cold water in the face? This is what the season's going to be like when the Big Ten rolls around.
Yeah, I mean, yes. Like I'll tell you this. I am becoming Bill Walton. Like, I'm always referring back to when I played, but it's all I can do. My freshman year, so many Calvert and all those guys. I mean, a ton of playing time was involved in freshmen, and we started the year out 10-0, and literally thought we may never lose a game. And the Big Ten season was coming up, and Jamal and Mark Robinson and Jeff Oliphant and Eric Anderson, and everybody kept saying, guys, it's just different. The Big Ten is just different. And we, cocky freshmen, we were all like, yeah, we got you. Just get on our back. We got you. And we went 8-10 in the Big Ten and just got destroyed in some games. And it's a difference. The Big Ten is a difference. And I don't know if there's enough experience on this Indiana team to get the younger guys to understand that. Trace Jackson Davis, I'm telling you right now, he's going to play against some guys who you're going to say he's more talented than. And he's not going to look that great. And there's going to be games that happens. It's not going to happen every game. He's going to still be, probably freshman of the year or close to it in the Big Ten. And, he's still going to be great. But he's going to have some different struggles when the Big Ten gets here. It's just different. It's hard to explain why. It's just different. And there'll be some battle. These guys think they're sore now coming out of these games. Wait till you come out of a game against Purdue or Michigan State or something like that. I mean, it's a different level of sore.
Kelly says, obviously, Todd is the comedian tonight. No, he thinks he's the comedian tonight, Kelly.
Tonight? That's where you made your mistake, Kel.
Tonight.
I am the comedian, period.
Comedian, maybe. More like it.
I'm just straight funny. That's the truth.
Trace Jackson Davis, a great point. He's going to get an education when there's these Florida States and the UConns. That's going to be that elevated role. I mean, he's been playing against guys that are very talented, obviously, in practice every day, but that only does so much for you when it's the same guys. You kind of get used to their pattern, their abilities and whatnot. It's playing against those different guys that are really good, that aren't necessarily better than you, but because they're just experienced.
I don't know the guy's name. That dude from Maryland. That dude from Maryland is huge and big and talented and athletic. And
he's
I mean,
going to abuse some people.
That's going to be a battle. I mean, that I'm super excited to see that happen. But that's definitely different than anything that he's experienced so far, and it's different than Joey Brunk's experience. I mean, in all reality, Joey Brunk will be the guy battling him, and Deron Davis will be the guy in there throwing their weight around against that guy. But that's what's exciting to watch. I'm really looking forward to that. Here's going to be the difference: is who's going to Ethan Happ Trace Jackson Davis. I mean, somebody you're going to look at and be like, wait a minute, that guy can't play against Trace Jackson Davis, and he's going to fundamental him to death, and he's going to footwork him to death. And he did. I mean, he was very hard to defend because he had good footwork, and he was smart, and he used fakes, and he would have been. Think about him at Indiana. I mean, if he played at Indiana, he would be a legend. I mean, people would be talking about, what do people still talk about? Brian Sloan's screens and Cree Smith screens.
Someone just said they wanted Brian Sloan.
Right. I mean, they still talk about that kind of thing. And they'd have been talking about Ethan Happ. They'd have been
guys
talking about
who do their jobs.
Yeah.
And do it very well.
What is it? You got Moss, and they do that. You got Moss thing in the NFL. It'd have been who got Ethan Happed all the time by footwork. That's what Joey Brunk, Ethan Happed a guy tonight with 7 fakes and 5 up and unders.
You ever been Leary?
Yeah, there's no such thing. Just slowly walking to the bench. No, this doesn't happen very often.
Bill, Todd, how did you go 8 of 10 according to Coach Knight? You all whooped everybody's ass.
Yeah. You heard that one tape though. You if you haven't, go on the internet. You'll find it.
Oh, the one in the locker room?
Yeah, that's after that season. That is after that season.
Now, but how many times did you hear that speech? Is that just the only time?
No, but that was
Special.
That tape. Let's just say that tape was a condensed version. That thing went on and on like that. Don't act like that whole. Don't act like that whole ass chewing took a minute and a half or 3 minutes or whatever that tape is. That ass chewing is about 4 hours long.
Man, we hope everybody's enjoying tonight. Again, took us a minute to get started, but I don't know why. I don't know what is going on with this stuff.
Yeah, I don't either.
Once we got going, it was fine.
Yeah, we got full power now.
But we appreciate you joining us here after the game with Todd Leary. Indiana beats Princeton tonight. Again, that final score, 79-54, a game that was close in the first half. Indiana just not they weren't there mentally. They were just going through the motion, going through the paces, and that's something that's going to change, like Todd said.
Setting it up for a big second half. That's what they're doing.
The talent level is about to get much tougher here in a couple games. So they've got 2 more games to get this stuff out of the system, and they better be ready to go. I certainly, that last game before Florida State, you don't want to see him play a game like this. The second half was okay, but I don't even want to see him come out like that in the first half. I want him to see him ready to play when the bell rings.
I agree with you. I'm just saying, tomorrow, set your alarm, and tomorrow at 3:00 in the afternoon, when the bell goes off, think about the fact that those guys are full blast 2 hours into a practice after as sore as they are tonight. I'm not making excuses for them, believe me. They're all lucky to be where they are.
I'm gonna take a nap.
That's for sure. That's exactly right. That's what the average person will be doing. They'll work a full day, they'll go home and eat some dinner and go to bed. And these guys will be beating the crap out of each other tomorrow afternoon at 3:00.
It was Kelly. She said exactly. She wants a Bryant. Tim Tebow says, can't wait till Notre Dame game at Bankers Life Field. There's another game we didn't mention. Notre Dame's not the same Notre Dame team they've been the last couple of years.
Sick.
Man, they've fallen off a little bit. I don't know what's going on. Mike Bray's a great coach.
He's a player's coach, but I tell you what.
And he has done so well. To be at Notre Dame, it's hard to have a good basketball team at Notre Dame. I'm just not, even though they're in the state of Indiana.
Let's blame it on the football program, please. I'm
not saying that. It's just
I am. I want to blame it on the football program. I'm a Georgia fan.
He's done well here of late. But this year, they've just, I don't know, I haven't followed them terribly closely. But
yeah, I don't know their roster like it was before. And they kind of dropped off a little bit last year. I mean, they had, they weren't great last year. And I think they'll be they'll be tough though. They'll figure out a way. Here's the funny part. That Crossroads Classic up there, both those games always end up being good games. Somehow they end up being good games. And is it Butler and Purdue again? Is it same team?
Always, yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Indiana plays Notre Dame.
Somehow that game always ends up being a good game, and somehow the Indiana Notre Dame game always ends up being a good game. So it'll be a battle.
Tim said Archie kept the team in the locker room for a very long time tonight. But
yeah, you know what no one knows is how far away that locker room is. I mean, it's a jaunt to get all the way to that locker room. I mean, yes, he probably did keep him in there longer than normal, but I mean, it's a solid 3 or 4 minute walk to get to that locker room.
You're not talking about Cook Hall, are you?
Yeah, that's where they came from. They came out of that side.
No, but after the game, they go in there back into their regular locker room, right underneath the deal.
But he's talking about keeping them in there at halftime.
Oh, at the half. They go back over the. Why did they go over the half? I thought they just went underneath.
Well, that's why you don't know what you're talking about.
They don't go back all the way back over there. They go on through the other side. See, now he's full of crap now. He's not a comedian either, Kelly. He's not funny. He thinks he is. He's not. Man, we hope you guys have enjoyed it here tonight as we have. I had other than the first 5 minutes, I've had a blast.
Yeah, I mean, everything I said was really good. You were okay.
Exactly. That's all. Hey, if I could be okay, I'm good.
I love you.
Hey guys, keep the comments coming. Let us know what you like, what you like to see more of. We want to tailor this to get it to how everybody likes it. But we've got Todd, so it can't get much better than that, right?
Iced tea, Tim. Iced tea. Unsweet, actually. Unsweet tea.
Yeah.
I'm not a drinker.
Sweet and watered down. Yeah. But we appreciate everybody joining us here as we come to you live from Yogi's. If you're coming to Bloomington anytime soon for a game, make sure you come to Yogi's before, check it out, some pregame meal, and then come back afterwards for after the game with Todd Leary. We'll be sitting right here in the same spot, right in the court. You see up there, we got, you can't see the signatures, but there's signatures up there.
There's one real important one.
I can't see that one.
Sage Steele.
Laskowski, can't see him. Sage Steele's up there, Todd Leary's up there, Brian Evans is up there, Colin Hartman,
Lance Stemler,
Tyra
Buss,
Tyra Buss, George Leach. That should cover it right there.
It's pretty close.
But get a lot of signatures on the wall. We keep adding to that.
There'll be more.
But come up and join us at Yogi's next whenever you come up to a game. We appreciate you here on Walnut Street. Looking forward to doing it again. We'll be back after the game on Monday as Indiana plays Louisiana Tech. Then La Tech. But Saturday, the big game, Indiana taking on Michigan. Don't wait till Monday. Come here to Michigan, man.
No kidding.
How about when Tom Allen came out tonight? Was it halftime he came out?
No, it was a TV. It was a timeout. He talked forever.
When he first came out, I'm like going, how's this going to go? Because they were in a timeout, TV timeout, which means you only have 4 minutes.
He's like me. He's not a short talker.
And they want the court cleared way before that time goes off.
Did you hear him buzz the horn on him?
Something buzz.
They buzzed the horn on him.
But Tom Allen was out there just having a ball,
funny.
telling people you come out Saturday. But they want it. Man, I'd love to see a big crowd out there, man. Because that should be a good game. The last 2 times Michigan has been here, those games have gone to overtime. So hopefully it'll be a win for the Hoosiers this time. But we'll certainly find out.
Let's check the weather. What do we got Saturday?
42 degrees.
Okay, all right.
Football weather, man. Football weather. Should be a great time. We appreciate everybody joining us tonight and make sure we don't have any last-minute questions there. Alan Hughes, it's very obvious why the Crossroads is always great. It's for Indiana schools going against each other. It's a great time for those schools, absolutely. Kelly Martin, you guys were great. Thank you, Kelly. We love you. Alan Hughes, thanks for a great show. Thank you, Alan. Jennifer, safe travels.
Jennifer.
Thank you. We appreciate you so much.
We're worried about you, Jennifer.
My man, Kyle, he needs to come to Bloomington and hang out with us. You're damn right you do. Get up here. Come on, I told you.
We'll see you Monday. Hey, you know where we'll be Monday.
Bill Evans, thanks, guys. We'll be listening in the morning. We appreciate you. That's right. Make sure you tune in every day, of course. Indiana Sports Beat with Coyle and Leary now, as Todd is on the show full time. You can listen live 9 to 11, or you can listen to it anywhere you pick up a podcast afterwards to make it more convenient for you. But Spreaker, or just go to indianasportsbeat.com. We've got you covered, man. You should be able to find us, no problem. We appreciate everybody.
Come to the Graduate sometime. You see us over there, too?
We'll be doing it to Graduate as well. We appreciate those guys. So we got all kinds of stuff in the works. We'll be telling you about making announcements soon, but we got lots more to get going. We're trying to give you complete coverage of the Indiana Hoosiers for you. For Todd Leary, I'm Jim Coyle. Until tomorrow morning, I will see you on the radio.